Check.
Check. Check, check, check. All righty then. I love live radio. So we're gonna have a good show tonight. I'm bringing on my special guest in a minute. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna engage in some conversation, some dialogue about a few subjects. Leadership. We're gonna talk about economic development, political power, the whole 9 yards. We're gonna talk about why Black Folks Only meeting, what happened to it, what do we hope to accomplish by it. So we'll have a little bit of everything here. But before we get started, folks, I want to welcome you to the show. 1690 AM to 1. You can go to your app store, man, download it, and tune in directly. If you have any questions, if you want to send an email or text, hit us up. Again, my name is Willie Hamilton. This is Real Talk. First of all, I want to thank God for being ahead of my life. Second, I want to thank my sponsors, Big Mama's Kitchen and Catering, and more importantly, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. We got a lot of stuff that I want to get off my mind, and I even brought one of my favorite books. It's called Accountable. Accountable. A lot of people don't want to be accountable, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of folks sit on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? But we want to talk about why is it so important for everybody to get on this field. Because we're in a war, literally in a war. And it's not a sideline sport. We need everybody on the field. And we're going to talk about what you can do in your space to make a change. So let's get a couple of announcements out of the way, and then we really want to get into this conversation. First of all, you are cordially invited to attend a candidate forum for candidates who are running for Nebraska State Senate. Mr. Justin Wayne, Ms. Jill Brown, Mike McDonald, Tony Vargas will be at Big Mama's Kitchen and Catering this coming Wednesday. It's very important for us to go to the polls and vote. We get what we get when we don't. We got a lot of people that say, hey, it don't make no sense in voting. And I say Donald Trump. If that don't make you go to the polls, I don't know what make you will. It's so important for us to understand, man, that two things: economic power and political power. Do you know who you're running for state senator from your legislative district? What do you know about the next person who will make major decisions affecting your children or grandchildren on the Omaha School Board? Who's going to set the next college tax levy at Metro Community College? Change policy or approve their budget? What about Douglas County Commissioners? How do their decisions affect your daily life? What about the learning community? Who are they and what is their job? We are not advocating apathy at the federal level, but it's pretty rare that decisions handed down from Congress or the president actually affect the day-to-day life of the average Omahan. County commissioners, state senators, board members affect our lives with the simplest of motions or a vote. Decisions regarding our roads, our homes, our economy are made more frequently at the local level. So I was ecstatic when President Obama got elected. But at the same time, I understood that most of the changes that we needed wasn't going to come from national. Great to have a black president, but he only could do so much. And most of the change come locally, come from your school board, it come from your state senator, it come from your city council, it come from your mayor and your governor. Those are the key positions that we should be trying to affect change in. Chances are you will never meet the President Obama, but you can meet with many of the candidates who have decided that they want to be leaders and elected officials on a local level. With our local elected officials at a candidate forum, you can express your concerns in an attempt to push our city and state in the direction you think it should go. At the federal level, they pass laws that are global and far removed from the voter. And like I said, we're going to talk about this because I got a brother, man. I'm sure he got an opinion on this. So we're gonna touch on a little bit of everything here. The format will be this way. Each candidate will have 1 to 2 minutes to introduce themselves, and then you will move right into the questions. Each candidate will have 1 to 2 minutes to answer each question and will give a closing statement about themselves. So holding our forum in a smaller, intimate setting facilitates good discussions. The last 3 that we done had, it's really been packed, and it's been a little heated, but I think there was a lot of tough questions that was asked and a lot of accountability that people are asking for when it comes to their elected officials. So this coming Wednesday, we have our final candidate forum with, again, Justin Wayne, Mike McDonald, Tony Vargas, Jill Brown, and I think Jake Seaman, who used to work for the Dave Dominic campaign. He's actually running for state senator as well. So we're talking 5, 7, and 13. So whatever you may think, it's so important for us to be involved with the political process. Jazz concert, Little Jesus, Blues, Jazz, and Gospel, Friday, May 6, 2016. Doors open at 6:30 p.m., 7:30 p.m., Metropolitan Community College, Fort Campus, Institute for Culinary Arts. VIP is $50. Tickets are $30. You can call 707-8915. Or you can go to the Love, Jazz, and Art Center. And LaFleur's New Look Fashions. So come out May 6, 2016. May 7th, we're excited to have our 4th annual No Murders in May. We're going to have 4 speakers. We're going to have the young lady who 4-year-old died. She will be one of the speakers. Big Mama, her granddaughter was shot, so she's going to be one of the speakers. And then Tricia, Loving Him More, she's going to also be a speaker. If you remember, Tricia was at our last No Murders in May event. And it was probably one of the most heart-wrenching piece I done been into. She actually called up a lady, unbeknownst to us who she was, called her up, and I thought she was just going to give her a hug. So she said, y'all probably don't know this, but this lady right here, her son murdered my son. And you just could have heard everybody's jaw dropped. But what was so spiritual about this was the love and the forgiveness that Tricia showed and the acceptance by the other lady regarding both of them losing their son. That was eye-opening to me because I don't think I could have, if I lost my daughter or my son, to be able to forgive someone who actually did that to my son. That would be hard for me. But to see 2 women, and that's why women are so important, to see 2 women come together and to forgive each other in love was a powerful thing. So on May 7th, from 11 to 2, we will have our 4th annual No Murders in May. If you want a t-shirt, you can go to our Facebook page at www.blackmenunited.org and download the information to get the shirts. Robert Wagner did a phenomenal job. He's one of our partners on this. I want to make sure I get some of my sponsors out the way. Again, we want to thank our sponsors. I got a quick list of them. And we will be doing an ad on 95.7 starting probably tomorrow or the next day. So join Black Men United on May 7th at Goodwill Industries on 72nd and Ames from 11 to 2 for the 4th annual No Murders in May campaign, as we support mothers, grandmothers, wives, sisters, daughters who will celebrate Mother's Day with a heavy heart because a loved one's life was cut short due to a senseless violence. To attend this event, go to www.eventbrite.com, No Murders in May, to order your tickets. Any questions, you can contact me at 965-1003. This event is being sponsored by Big Mama's Kitchen and Catering, Nebraska Family Collaborative, 75 North, Omaha Economic Development Corporation, Jane Claire, Bow, Nebraska, BJ Reed, UNO, Councilman Amy Melton, and Reach Program, Dr. Richard Brown from Creighton. So we want to thank all our sponsors for helping us put this event on. Every year it gets bigger. Next year we probably won't be able to have it at Goodwill. It'll probably be at the Hilton downtown. We was hoping that this event would get smaller, but it just seemed like, man, the violence is getting worse and worse. So it is what it is. May 7th, from 11 to 2 at Goodwill. Also, we want to thank, first of all, we want to thank the Justice or Else organizing committee out of Chicago and the Black Star Project, and also the Nation of Islam Omaha Study Group, Justice or Else organizing committee located at 4200 North 30th Street. They spearheaded a phenomenal event, and I ain't gonna hate, I'm gonna appreciate. But we had about 7 different organizations, and the whole purpose was to repaint the building, clean up around the building, across the street, and a couple of empty lots. We don't want to stop there. And like I said, I just want to give love where love is due. Minister Farrakhan and the Justice or Else Organizing Committee out of Chicago basically said this: we're not waiting for the cavalry. We're not waiting for anybody to do for us. We have to do for self. And the minister organized over 40 cities and 20 organizations in Chicago alone. And I think we did a phenomenal job with this, but it was a birth child of the Justice or Else Organizing Committee. So stay tuned. DeMarcus Mosley, Eric Bergen, Tori Veland, the Keep Omaha Beautiful, Black Men United, NOI, all getting ready all summer to pull off a lot of these events to clean up our own community and not wait for other people to do it for us. So I want to just give a big shout out to the Nation of Islam, Justice or Else Organizing Committee. I know they have transformed my life. When I went there, Black Men United would never came about if it wasn't for the Million Man March. And from that date, we kept it moving. And everything that the minister had put out, we have did, because it have proven to be successful. So I just want to give thanks where thanks is due, and give a big shout out to the Nation of Islam, Justice or Else Organizing Committee, and Philip Jackson of the Black Star Project. So we will be having some cleanup dates. Hopefully we'll have a calendar of events with the different locations. So if you want to get involved, please contact any of those guys I mentioned earlier. We want to keep this thing going. Last but not least, again, Philip Jackson and the Nation of Islam we're doing our 3rd annual Daddy-Daughter Dance. I don't think you hear me. Daddy-Daughter Dance. This is the 3rd annual, originated out of Chicago and the minister, and basically it is a way for fathers, because we always get sometimes the bad rap that we're not good fathers, we're not good providers, and that's a lie from the pits of hell. If some of our men will do that, but a lot of our men are dedicated to their kids and their women. So this Daddy-Daughter Dance is going to take place, was supposed to take place April 30th. Going to be rearranged, and it's going to be done on the Turning Point campus. So when that date is set, we definitely will be giving that information to you guys. So if you have a daughter and you want to just hang out with her, or we got a couple of daughters, and you just want to be in a safe atmosphere where we're going to be able to have fun with our daughters, please contact Positive Productive Black Fathers, Omaha Chapter 402-590-7643, or via our Facebook page. The fact of the matter is, man, black men, we have to step to the plate and we have to do what we need to do to be able to protect and build our families. So this is a good way for you to be able to come and do that and spend some quality time with your daughter. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple more, but I want to bring Brother Vernon in. And like I said, we're going to talk about just about everything. Okay? We want to. I figure you would. Yeah, you.
I got two girls.
You got two girls. So, but before we get started, I want to go through this. I know I'm probably getting a whole lot of trouble for doing this, but about 6 years ago, 2007. Oh, about 9 years ago, on Channel 22, we came up with a list, and I want to know what has happened since 2007 to affect these numbers. And if you think these numbers are wrong, you can go to the Omaha World Herald, May 2007 edition, and pull it up, and all these statistics will be there. Number one, even though 97% of all the state, county, and local government jobs in Nebraska that pay over $70,000 a year are held by white people, which eliminated the application of affirmative action for all state, county, and local government jobs in Nebraska. White people clearly want to hold the remaining 3% of all state, county, and local government jobs in Nebraska that pay over $70,000. And you wonder why we're number one in poverty. Number two, white people have consistently been in complete control of the formal education of black students in Nebraska. And that's why school choice is so important in charter schools. Over 50% of black males fail to graduate from high school. 50%. While white-controlled public and private colleges and universities generate revenue through slave labor, scholarship recruitment of black male students to carry a football, shoot a basketball. Black students go play and actually get an education somewhere else. So I told you I would probably get in some trouble for doing this. But you know me, I really don't care. On April 25th, 2005, Senator Ernie Chambers, the only black member of the Nebraska State Legislature, became Nebraska's longest serving state senator, having served for more than 35 years. But he was deemed too controversial by white power brokers. So in 2000, white people in Nebraska passed a term limit law specifically targeted to remove Senator Chambers. Equal, fair political representation is not available to black people in Nebraska. Oh, this one really gonna give me some trouble. A billionaire's daughter, heir to the richest man in the world, allegedly uses her influence to control her preferred Negroes, and these Negroes have subsequently deemed themselves as the new black leadership in Omaha, but without benefit or input or dissent from Omaha's diverse black population. Black people go work somewhere else where Willie Lynch tactics are not in play. Like I said, I'm sure I'm gonna get some feedback from this, but that's the whole point. Blacks comprise 4% of Nebraska population, but are 35% of all HIV and AIDS cases. Black males in Nebraska have the highest rate for HIV, almost 60% per 100,000. 5.3, 100,000 for white males. Black females in Nebraska had a majority of HIV and AIDS cases at 54%. Black love is dangerous in Nebraska. Black people, go love somewhere else. Number 6, Omaha percentage of black children in poverty ranks number 1 in the nation, with nearly 6 of 10 black kids living below the poverty line. Black parents, go somewhere where your children really matter. Number 7, the black median household income in Omaha as a percentage of U.S. black income has been falling for decades, currently below the U.S. average. These are numbers we should not be proud of. Number 8, at nearly 17%, Omaha has the 8th highest unemployment rate in the U.S. And I went in and I wanted to look up something recently. So right now in the state of Nebraska has an unemployment rate of 3.5%. Don't let that number fool you. For blacks, it's almost 30%. Even considering the size of Omaha black population, the percentage of blacks who work in management position is the 8th lowest in the country. And while the number of black managers has been on the rise nationally, Omaha figures dropped 25% between 2000 and 2005. With the exception of a few tokens, career advancement for black people is not possible in Nebraska. Number one, I know this can really get me in trouble. Warren Buffett, the richest man in the world, and a lifetime resident. This is what I got in trouble for, and is still getting in trouble for. Resident of Omaha, and his fellow Nebraskan, billionaire Walter Scott, Gary West, and Mary West, continue to prosper, seemingly oblivious to the fact that among America's 100 largest metro areas, Omaha has the 3rd highest black poverty rate in the U.S. Black people don't make the mistake of thinking that Nebraska rich people care about you. They don't. So I read this and gathered this information about 9 years ago, and I wanted to read this top 10 and see how much of a change we have had in the last 10 years. They've gotten worse. So we're going to move on to that. We're going to move on from that. Oh, well.
Yeah, he goes up.
Oh yeah. Oh, so he said he was. So we want to talk about this. We want to talk about the top 10 reasons, and I know Brother Vernon got something to say about this. After hearing this, what are your thoughts about this? And like I said, if you want to check out any of the facts that I just read, please go to the Omaha World Herald. They did a full page ad on all these facts, all this data. So I want to know, how have things changed? How have things changed? How have things changed? Our children are still number one in poverty. Still 97% of all jobs are still held by white folks. I mean, we have a $4 billion contractor piece, and yet none of the contractors are getting jobs. So, what do you think we need to do to be able to change those numbers?
Well, good evening.
Good evening. And your name is?
Brother Vernon. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, bro.
You know, I don't know who wrote this, who put it together. It don't have an author to it in the on this paper here. It's not all factual.
Where in the factual?
Well, we just start with number one. That's factual. The elimination of the affirmative action. The elimination of affirmative action is where, we lost around $10 million annually in North Omaha.
So how is that not accurate?
No, I said number one is
So
accurate.
number 10 is accurate. What about number 8, number 9?
Number two,
Yeah, number 9.
white people have consistently been in complete control of the formal education. Well, that's true, and all black people promote education in universities. So, of course, that's true.
So all black folks do what?
We promote our children to go to school, get an education, and they'll be successful.
Okay, well, that's a lie. Okay.
But that's the mantra.
Okay.
It works for some, not for others.
Right. That's why the trades is so important right now. So what about number 7?
Or number 3,
Yeah, number 3.
Senator Chambers, it says April 25th, Senator Chambers, the only black member of Nebraska legislature, became Nebraska's longest. That's half true. He ain't the only black. There were 2 before him, actually.
There were 2 black senators?
Yes, sir.
Who were they?
Before Senator Chambers.
Who-
I have to Google it. But I know for a fact there were 2 before him.
Okay, go ahead.
And we should know that.
But hold on. They said the longest running senator.
No,
You did say the only black.
yes, they underlined it.
Right.
So that's not correct. But longest serving state senator, I believe that to be correct.
Okay,
And they did pass a term limit law
that's correct.
that removed him. And and at the same time, you know, our economics is still the same. Now, number 6.
So you're gonna try to
Number
throw
6.
You're gonna try to throw my senator up on the bus. Go ahead.
What do you mean you throw him under the bus?
You said you can always the change.
Well, let's talk about state senators, because state senators are the gatekeepers of all the laws that run through the state of Nebraska. And so if we have problems with laws or anything like that, you know, in his district, you know, his people are affected the most. He has been the longest running,
Right.
and we're the poorest.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, there's no throwing anything under the bus. It's just actual facts in which we're bringing to the table.
All of he's not actually his position don't create jobs. He's a senator. He don't create jobs. He create policy. Right? That's right, though. He creates policy.
I'll put it like this. If you look at some of the other senators and the businesses and things going on in their districts, well, I mean, okay, we can say that, but we're going to be reading about some millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, senators create policy, not jobs.
I'm not here to speak on behalf of the senator. I'm
Well,
just making point that he's not the first one, and our district is the poorest.
You're right, and that's why I was trying to say that. Yes, it is the poorest, but he can't create jobs.
You can't eat butts.
He can't create jobs.
Okay.
He can't create jobs.
But we just making points. That's all.
What I'm saying.
I ain't saying what he got to
Like I
do.
said,
He the longest running senator, so that's his job.
Senator, but he don't create jobs.
Okay.
All right. Create policy.
Well, that's obvious.
He create
That's
policy.
obvious. That's obvious, right? That's obvious.
Okay.
That's obvious. That's true.
All right, go ahead.
Number 4. A billionaire's daughter, heir to the richest man in the world, allegedly uses her influence to control her preferred Negroes. Now, you know, this
Man,
seems
we need to go ahead and pass that one up, though.
this seems to be ill-willed towards her friends who are black and herself.
Hold up. Now, you just got to talk about gatekeepers, right? Did you just say gatekeepers?
I said state senators.
Right, gatekeepers.
They make the laws that run through the state of Nebraska.
They're not the only gatekeepers.
Mrs. Buffett don't do that.
Don't do what?
She's not a state senator.
No. That ain't what I said. She could be able to create jobs, though.
No, you said allegedly uses her influence to control her preferred Negroes.
Yeah.
That's ill-willed.
Ill-willed to who?
To her. And the Negroes, her black friends.
And
Well, I mean, you know.
gatekeepers.
No.
See, you can disagree with that. Go ahead.
The thing about it, I think of it like this. If the goal is to create economics in the district where you have the longest running senator and you have a billionaire, well, you don't want to slight the billionaire that can bring a manufacturing piece in the area.
Hold on. I'll ask you a question. When have we had any economic development in North Oak? If they could have did it now, why didn't they do it 10 years ago?
I'm not a Buffett. I don't speak on behalf of the Buffett.
But you're saying you shouldn't do X, Y, and Z. The fact of the matter
Well,
is,
because
hold on. The fact of the matter is this. Look at the statistics. I didn't make the statistics. Okay? Our kids are still number 1 in poverty.
okay, then they can't eat rhetoric. Is what I'm saying to you is that if they number 1 in poverty,
Right.
and then I speak ill will to the daughter of a billionaire right in our front yard, how does that help them eat?
I mean, they ain't eating anyway.
But how does it help them eat?
And look, the fact
Now,
of the
she
matter is-
do have
hold on.
daycares and
You asked me a
Senate.
question. Now, see, this is almost as though you're in defense of what have taken place over the last 30 or 40
Well,
years.
because I felt like that statement is not correct of her character that I know of her.
Hold on. Like I said, the fact of the matter is, and it ain't just me saying this. There's a lot of people saying that there's gatekeepers being controlled by the Buffetts.
Well, I mean, being a billionaire, automatically people would think, you know, that they own a lot of things, which they most likely do. But the point is this. We made the point of being the poorest city.
Hold on. I'm confused. If we have 3.5% unemployment, and we have more millionaires and billionaires per capita than anywhere in the country, and our population is only less than 1 million, and you mean to tell me our kids are supposed to be the poorest in the country?
Well, okay, let's look at the business people, the black business, the Negroes. Let's
they
look at the
poor.
Hold on.
They
Hold
poor.
on. Let's look at the business Negroes. How many of them have nonprofits?
Oh, so now you saying it's black folks.
Well, the book you held up was titled Accountability.
Accountability. I understand that.
Okay, that's all we talking about here.
If I just read, hold up. If 97% of all the jobs are here, under $7,000 are here by white people, and we're number 8 in the country, we are the 3rd highest black poverty rate in the U.S., and our kids are number 1 in poverty, how you gonna say it's black folks' fault?
I said black folks are accountable, like the books say that you
So,
holding
I
up.
understand that. So black folks.
So if I'm
hold up.
accountable, then why would I ill speak towards billionaires, whether they put anything in the environment or not?
So it's black people's fault because they poor.
It's black people's fault because they don't understand
They don't have
economics.
resources.
Mr. Daly's is doing very well.
Hold on. We don't have the economic base in North Omaha to do
Mr.
any of
Daly's
this.
is doing very well.
So we have the economic base in North Omaha. To
We
do all
have
the
plenty.
stuff
Well, I
No,
mean,
we
it depends
don't.
on where you're looking for it.
Hold up. How can you say we have an economic base when the average is between $9,000 and $10,000 a year?
Do you see Mr. Daly suffering? The liquor store suffering?
You gonna get one person.
Well,
So Mr. Daly is supposed to take care.
Well, he's one of the biggest businesses in the city. He's the most consistent business. He better than most churches.
I want to make sure.
Am I lying?
Hold on. I want to make sure I get this clear. So now you're putting the responsibility back on black people.
The book is titled Accountable.
I know what accountable is, but this what you said. It's black folks' fault they poor.
Accountable. That's what the
So
book
so it's
says.
black folks' fault they poor.
I said we accountable.
So black folks accountable for being poor.
We accountable to become less poorer by using wisdom. You know, the Bible teaches my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge.
I want to make sure I hear you correctly, though. All right. You're saying black folks should be held accountable for being poor.
I saying black folks should be held accountable to make sure our babies eat.
How can black folks be accountable when they're poor?
Well, those who have businesses that have intelligence, because all black people ain't poor. A lot of them riding around here real good, living real good. So we're talking about the poor ones. I mean, there's enough of a.
Come on, brother.
I'm with you.
Brother Vernon.
Accountable is the name of the book.
I understand accountable. Now I understand that certain black folks should be doing more, but the majority of black folks are poor. Poor. So what you actually them say, hey, look, man, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Some of them don't have a bootstrap.
You know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan instructs us like this. You know, all of the black people who think they got money, basketball players, entertainers,
We don't have no basketball
comedians.
players.
No, hold on. I'm talking about just black people, period, who think they got money.
Right.
All came from the Jewish community. They control all of that. So he told us to study the Jews. You know, we have to study the Europeans. We have to study the billionaires. You have to study what they're doing. Because we're smart enough to deal with this situation and based off of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding versus being in ignorance and opposition for no reason at all.
Brother Vernon, I'm just still trying to get a clear picture of this, because you're saying black folks have enough money in their community where they don't have to be number 1 or number 3. How so?
Well, let's look at that. You asked how so.
Hold on. If that was the case, we should be able to do more for our educational system than we is.
Okay, let's.
That's why.
okay.
That's why
Okay,
the
let's-
bond was put about, because we don't have the resources
Okay, but-
or the tax base.
But hold on, but we didn't even bring forth the bond. They did.
Because for us,
Okay, but we're talking about accountable.
no, but we don't have a tax base
Okay.
to do any of the stuff you're talking about.
Okay, well, why don't we? We all pay
Because
taxes.
we're poor.
Well, no, because we have a lack of knowledge.
No, brother, it ain't that like.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
you say
Then
that?
why do you have a luncheon for politicians?
A luncheon for politicians.
Right, because we want them to come and tell us what they can do for our comforts of life and how they make it better in terms of taxes on homes if you own homes, or based off of whatever their job description is. That's what it's about.
elected officials about setting policy. That's
Right.
what that's about. And as far as me, I'm not waiting for anybody to come do nothing for us because the cavalry ain't coming. We got to be the one to do it.
Okay.
We got to be the one to create our own jobs,
Okay.
our own businesses,
Okay.
the whole 9 yards.
Now let's talk about that, because I mentioned the liquor stores, which is, I mean, they do very well every day.
Right,
Now you got the churches.
right,
You know, the churches are the backbone, and I
Right.
say they the backbone. Not so much we focus on the preachers, you know, but in truth, the back, because I was raised in church, the backbone of a church is really the motherboard, you know, and the missionary board, and so the appeal is not so much to the preachers because they get a salary and generally they come and go, but you'll have the motherboard who've been there for 20, 30 years, and they making sure that everything stays in place. And so, you know, some of our conversation now, you know, needs to talk about how to develop our own educational system, because in truth, I don't even see any reason that we even have to discuss educating our children when we did it very well before there was a school system. But it's just a matter of putting the dollars not into a national base. Like every church has a national base, and they all send money to the national bases or whatnot.
right,
So, you know, there's a system to the churches,
right.
you know, which would have to be disrupted or would have to be redirected in some kind of way. Because if we really wanted to educate our children, I mean, we got plenty of churches to put them in there. We got plenty of mothers that would cook them some real food if the money was right.
We are in worse condition now than we were 50 years ago. 50 years ago, we're in worse condition now. Most of our rich black folks done lost probably half their money through the recession, through the bank, the bailout, and all that stuff, like through the housing market, the whole 9 yards. So with that being said, how do you expect black folks to be able to do some of the things that you're talking about, especially if you're not holding other folks accountable?
Well, the first thing we have to do is pull our own resources. Case in point,
Now, you just said we're broke.
hold on. What do Negroes do best? We jump and play ball. You know, you look in TV, all of the black Negro men are sports athletes. You know, doing eyewear,
So you
doing
blame
this.
the church,
No.
you blaming the athletes.
Okay, well, these are the people with the money. You ask accountability. We you know, we have to start looking at where whom the European is giving the money to. You know, and even the minister talked about just a couple of weeks ago with the ball players, because, you know, the ball players are young and they're under contracts.
Right.
But he talked about how, you know, some of them that's been out of it should go and buy up Detroit, you know, because Detroit is suffering. Now, we can march and talk about if they, who's printing the fiat paper, is not actually money, they're printing it out of their own closets. It's losing its value,
Right.
you know, in itself. So really, even collecting that resource is not the cavalry
Right.
per se for us, you know. And when you look at the world scene, there's a lot of changes going on, you know.
When you
And
talk
so,
about accountability, other than black folks, because I know we got accountability piece in there. Matter of fact, I'm in the mindset that we have to do for self, but at the same time, we have to hold other folks accountable for not doing what they doing.
and I totally agree. When the Pope was here, you know, there's some Pope letters that you can go on in YouTube. Brother Taj Tariq Bey, and even the Pope, when he came here last, he drove a Fiat,
Right.
you know, which is not real money.
Right.
And, you know, he left a letter and talked about the indigenous people and how we deserve to be paid reparations.
Right.
The United Nations have done a letter.
Right.
That we deserve reparations.
Right.
And there won't be no peace in the world until the black man, the slaves are properly reparated. There won't be no peace in America. I mean, the storms that are hitting every night right now, it won't stop. It will stop if they go ahead and pay us reparations. The minister had already done laid that out. What will stop the storms, but they're not going to do it.
Right.
So the storms is going to increase and increase and increase. So I believe our best thing, well, for me, I like to study as much as I can
Right.
and study knowledge, because I know even in the North Omaha, in order for us to economically build the city, we know they took 10 million out with the affirmative action.
Right.
That has to be replaced.
By who?
Well, that's why you got to have knowledge.
By who though?
That's why you got to have knowledge. Hold on.
By black people?
Hold on. Because you talked about the contractors not getting any work
Right.
from downtown.
Right.
Okay? So if that's taken, which it is,
Which is?
the contractors really only got one avenue.
And what is that?
Is for every last one of them come together, form a company, and start with the little jobs and build up to until they can break off from one another.
Right.
Because that tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 and all that kind of stuff, they automatically out the game based off of the structure,
Right.
you know.
So you say, first of all, we already got an issue with us coming together because they tried to come together 6 months ago, and the thing just fell apart. But I do agree that the only way people gonna take notice of us if we work collectively, but then Willie Lynch get in the way.
Well, and that's
So
what we.
So how do we collectively bring about the change that we need?
Well, I think back to knowledge. Let's talk about the president. You mentioned Barack Obama, and let me say this. I like Donald Trump. I heard you say something about Donald Trump earlier.
Oh my God!
But
man.
I like Donald Trump. I had to put that out there.
You like what?
I had to put that out there. And
Why you like Donald Trump?
well, I'm going to use knowledge. The United States of America is a corporation. Donald Trump is a billionaire businessman.
And went broke. I don't know how many times.
But you don't know nothing about it.
Hold on, I don't.
And he got,
I'm not a billionaire.
And he's not as broke as we are here in North
But
Omaha.
hold up. So you trying to say we're gonna vote for Donald Trump?
I'm saying, hold on, listen to what I'm saying.
Are you gonna vote for Donald
The
Trump?
United States of America is not a country, it's a corporation.
Man.
It is 50 incorporated states that are slave-bearing
lost-
states. Hold
man,
on, listen
you
to
lost
me.
your mind.
That was built off of slave labor, and all these states were made to do was generate money.
Okay.
That's why we need to talk about birth certificates, social security cards, all of these contracts
What they
we're
gotta do with
going
Donald
into. Well, because we're talking, see, we got to get a knowledge. When you're dealing in business, this man is a businessman. And so, hold on.
Have you heard the rhetoric this man been
Hold
saying?
on, you're not listening to me.
Who
You're
don't
not.
listen
You're
to
not
me?
listening. I'm talking about the business.
I mean,
Listen, nobody cares about talk if you're making money.
Man, you crazy.
When you're making money, you can laugh all the way to the bank with Richard Pryor.
Man, you crazy.
Richard Pryor offended people every day
Man,
and laughed all the way to the bank.
you crazy.
Hold on. Donald Trump is laughing at the bank all the way to the bank. And in order to get this country, this business up and rolling again, you're going to need somebody who is a world businessman, not these little local people that keep fooling us and like, so who you for?
Who and what?
Who you with? Who you like as a candidate?
I like either Hillary Clinton or Bernie.
Either or. Which
Either
one do
or.
you like? Which one?
Either
you like?
or.
Which one do you like?
Either or.
So you just either or for what reason?
You ask me which one do I like? I say
Good,
I like certain things about Bernie. He's a
What?
socialist. A lot of the views that black folks have. Bernie.
What is what is socialist? What do you mean? Because I went into
A
details
socialist.
of business.
A socialist. Now look.
Socialism can see.
Hold on, man.
Can you eat off socialism?
Hold on, man. You asked
Or
me
can
a
you eat
question.
off business?
You asked me a question. You asked me a question.
I did.
Man, if we're talking about qualification, the best person for the job is Hillary Clinton.
Why?
I just told you, man. First of all, she was an attorney. If you look at her history, she always fought for people of color issues.
What was her last job?
Secretary of State.
Look at the secretary.
And the Senate.
Look at the state condition. And
you gonna have Donald Trump?
hold on.
You gonna have Donald Trump.
You jumped all the way to the future because he ain't did it. We talking about Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton did
Now,
what?
they put the most mandatory sentencing black people have ever been hit on since they've been here through Bill Clinton.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I know you're gonna give me a whole lot.
Hold up.
Now, why are you?
Hold up.
Who are you
started
for?
it? Hold up. Who started it?
No.
Hold up.
How you gonna be for that?
Who say no to drugs?
How you gonna be for
Who
that?
said say no to drugs?
Nancy Reagan.
And did crack versus powder.
Nancy Reagan said, "Say no to drugs."
And then did crack versus powder. Nancy Reagan.
Okay.
More black folks went to prison on crack and mandatory sentence.
You gonna put it on Nancy Reagan?
She's the one that started it.
Oh my God! You serious?
Hold on, man.
They already didn't slam Bill Clinton
Hold up,
about it.
Google.
What are you talking
Hold up.
about? He put it into play. She wasn't a president.
Hold up, man.
She's the
Hold up, man.
wife.
Ronald Reagan
Okay.
did the crack versus
Okay.
powder.
You gonna put it on?
Bill Clinton came around and did 3 strikes you out. That's what he did, bro.
That's what put the brothers in jail forever.
Oh man, but you don't think the mandatory
And mandatory
You don't
sentencing.
think the mandatory sentence that Ronald Reagan did and took down economics? You don't think they had no
I'm
part
not
of it?
gonna argue for Ronald Reagan over Bill Clinton.
But you
I'm
brought
telling
it
you,
up. You
well,
brought it
they both was doing the wrong
Yes, they
thing.
did.
Okay, so how did that make you go for Hillary?
You asked me who I went for. I told you she was the best qualified.
Now, how does that qualify her?
If Ronald Reagan
She-
did just as bad as Bill Clinton, how you voting for Ronald Reagan? No,
Ronald
not
Reagan.
Ronald
I ain't
Reagan,
vote for Ronald
Trump.
Reagan. If Donald
Donald
Trump,
Trump.
what you mean? How can I vote for
How
Donald
you
Trump?
vote for Donald Trump?
I just told you he's a
The dude is a
businessman.
racist
How you know? What makes him racist?
because he made racist statements.
What statement did he make that was racist
look,
to you?
man.
Come on.
I don't want to have to go to a quote about what this man
You
said.
should be able to when you
How
put
so?
that when you say
How
that
so?
about somebody.
The dude is a racist.
What did he say?
He is a racist.
What did he say?
He is a racist. Now, look, that's just my opinion.
Well,
Now,
what did
you
he
don't have
say?
to agree with it, but it's my opinion.
Well, what did he do?
Man, I don't know verbatim what he said, man. What the world? Do you?
Yeah, if you say, hold on, if you're talking about the Mexicans,
Are you Muslim?
hold on,
Are you Muslim?
Yeah.
Now, you heard what he said about the Muslims.
Yes.
But you don't think that's racist?
No, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, hold on, listen. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that Donald Trump had a valid point, and and we should not allow them to come in here and just blow this up because we here too. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan backed that statement up.
You know something?
And I back the Honorable Minister. I'm support the minister, and that
Man,
makes sense.
I know the Minister Farrakhan ain't supporting Donald Trump.
You better check YouTube what he said. I'm gonna tell you what he said. I ain't tell you who he support, but I'm telling you what he said.
So he supporting Donald Trump?
He said that he support
Hold on.
that rationale.
He is the minister supporting Donald Trump.
He supported that rationale that I just gave
I said,
you
is he supporting
about
Donald
the
Trump?
Muslims.
Is he supporting Donald Trump or is he supporting?
You
Donald
would have to
Democrat?
talk to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan
I'm just asking.
about who he's going to fully endorse.
You threw the quote out there,
But
dog.
because it's on YouTube,
You threw the quote.
it's right on YouTube. The
Check it,
minister
check it,
don't
check it.
hide.
I am not voting for Donald Trump.
I know.
I don't support Donald Trump.
That's good.
I believe he to be a racist.
Okay.
I believe
Well,
be a
he ain't did nothing
homophobia.
racist, though.
What are you talking about?
What did he
man?
say?
Man, have you been looking at the news?
Yes.
So how you gonna say that?
What he said about the Mexicans is what you saying was racist?
Yes.
Okay, let me say
What-
this.
what-
Let me say this. If I had, if, and I don't care, and I'm not Mexican, but for him to speak up about women getting raped over the border, I guarantee you those thousands and thousands
Over
of
the
women,
border?
hold on, those thousands of women who are being abused, coming across that border over Mako or being raped, appreciate
you
him
should
making
not even
light to
say
that.
man. When the United States go to other countries and do the same damn thing.
Huh?
The United States.
But he spoke up for them, is all I'm
But the
saying.
hey man, that's why
He spoke up
hold
for
on,
them.
That's why so many countries now, man, are fed up with the United States. You sit up here talking about what they did in other countries, man. Look what the United States is doing.
He was talking about the border.
Look what they're doing about this country.
He said the border.
This what they do with this country. You said across the border.
He said rapist. You was saying what he said that was
They got
racist.
rapists here.
Okay. But he wasn't talking about here.
In Vietnam, what did they do?
Okay, I agree.
What did they do?
Okay.
When they went to Afghanistan.
Well, then
what
he
did they
has
do?
a right to say that
Hold on,
then.
when they went to Afghanistan, what did they do?
Okay, then he has a
But
right
no,
to say that. Then why is you
hold
saying he
on.
racist if he says it?
He is a racist.
So when you say it, does that make you a racist?
When I say what?
That you just said that America was raping too. Does that make you a racist?
How can I be a racist when I said America?
Well,
America was a rapist.
okay then. They are raping women, and women appreciated
So,
that.
so let me get this straight. I'm gonna make sure I got this clear. Donald Trump is not a racist.
I asked you what racist statement did he make, and you haven't given me one yet.
All right. Just because I don't know of this statement per se, but I've been watching the news and the media and others, black folks, are saying he's a racist.
Okay, so you're gonna believe the media?
Yes. In some cases,
Well,
yes.
then you already off
I
target.
mean, how so?
How you gonna help the people listening to the media?
Man, you up here supporting Donald Trump, and what
Okay.
Donald Trump has said nothing that has been inflammatory or racist.
He's
Nothing.
I said I support him because he a
But
businessman.
I asked you, but he hasn't said anything.
I don't know his views.
What the hell you expect me to know his damn views?
Well, I don't. But why did you call him a racist if you don't know his views?
Because I said
I
I
support
saw
him.
this man,
Listen.
saw this man, and I've watched the
Listen,
rhetoric.
when he said what he
I
said,
believe he
hold on.
racist.
When he said what he said about the Muslims,
So you protect.
hold on.
Protected Donald Trump.
Hold on. Well, when he said what he said about the Muslims, because let me say, the Honorable Ms. Louis Farrakhan, supported his view. So that means that we should use knowledge, wisdom, and understanding based off of the time in which we're living and the things that's going
you
on
gonna
in
vote
the
for Donald
world. I'm not voting, but I support his
Hold on.
candidacy. I like his view. I like he's a businessman.
You support Donald Trump, but you
I
want.
think he'll be good. He's going to help the veterans.
So you're voting for Donald Trump, but
Well, I'm not a delegate. Back to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
You don't have to be a delegate to vote for him.
Don't say that on the air.
You don't have to be a delegate to vote for him.
But if you vote and you're not a delegate, you don't count.
Say what?
Say what? You ain't been watching that on the media?
Say what?
You ain't been watching that on the media?
Hold on.
Did not Donald Trump tell you it was
Hold on.
rigged?
May 10th, you can go to the polls and vote. And you can vote for Donald Trump. What are you talking about? And you don't have to be a delegate.
But they not looking for your vote. They looking for the delegate vote. I'm sorry to tell you.
I am a delegate.
You a delegate for the state of Nebraska.
Yes.
You one of the, how many is there?
I don't know how many, but I'm
About 2 or 3?
LD5. No. You talking about a super delegate.
Well, I'm talking about the one that counts.
All
You don't count. If you ain't a super delegate, you don't count.
All delegates count.
They only got so many per state,
All
Brother Willie.
I'm a delegate.
Hold on. Let me put it in these terms. Let's go back this way. Donald Trump and them only need 1,237 delegates,
get.
which is 1,237.
Which we
Hold
won't get.
on.
Which you won't get.
You saying you wanted the
I say
1,237?
I'm a delegate. When you go to the convention, my vote count.
No, it don't. Because if you count, you ain't in a separate party. But if you want Bernie Sanders, the delegates, everybody can want Bernie Sanders,
No.
and the delegates can go to Hillary Clinton. They're already called designated delegators or
No,
something.
you got delegates that voted for Bernie, and you got delegates who voted for Hillary. I'm a delegate for Hillary. And then you got delegates for Bernie.
See, this is part of the problem.
How's it part of the problem?
Because if you don't understand who appoints a presidency, how can you
What do you mean, who
instruct
appoint?
politics?
You're not even voting, and you over here talking about, what are you talking about?
Because it don't count, Brother
How
Willie.
it don't count? So your vote don't count.
Your vote don't count.
Man, please. That's our problem. The minute you say our vote don't count, man, that's a problem.
Knowledge, wisdom, and
That's a
understanding.
problem. Dude, that's crazy.
Why?
Because for you to say the vote don't count.
They don't even count you. They only got I think it's like 4 or 5 delegates out the whole state. And that's not you.
Hold on, man. See, you don't know what you're talking about. Was you at the caucus? No. Was you
I
at the
don't have
convention?
to be.
Was you at the convention? No. So how you sitting up here talking about that?
Because they're talking about it every day, how
no.
one candidate is courting delegates, taking them out to eat and all that kind of stuff to get them.
A super delegate. That's totally different.
I'm talking about, I said the one that counts. Now, you want to put the word super in front of it. I just said you wasn't one of those that voted for the
How you know?
president. Because you're not a super delegate.
Hold on. Now you just found out what a super delegate is.
Well, I know, you're right. I just found
Somebody
out.
said, what's a super delegate?
What's a super delegate?
Yeah, what's a super delegate?
That's one that obviously that can vote for the presidency, which ain't me or you.
I can vote for. That's not true, dog.
Okay, you can. It's called a provisional ballot.
No, it's not talking. No, that's no. You know what a delegate is, dog? You go to a caucus. You go to a caucus, and you're a legislative district, and you run as a delegate to be a delegate to go to the convention.
I understand that process.
I was chosen as a delegate.
That's for the party.
So no, delegate to go to the convention. Now, when I go to the convention, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get elected as a delegate as well. So that means I go to the national.
Okay.
So I don't have to be a super delegate.
But your vote don't count. They not courting. They're not gonna fly you out to come and ask for your vote.
They don't fly super delegates out.
How you know? You not one.
Man, Maureen Monahan is.
Donald Trump said they do.
So you believe? Why you keep throwing everything to Donald
Because
Trump?
he paid for them. He said, "To the bean, to the bong, to the bong, to the bean, to the bong." He said he used to give them all money. He already done told us the game, Brother Willie.
Now, hold on.
That's why I like Donald. He done told you the game.
Hey,
You don't think it's the game?
Like I said, dude.
Game recognized game. Ain't that Snoop Dogg? Somebody said that.
For someone, first of all, who don't vote. And then you get up here and you're talking about Donald Trump as a businessman. That he gonna do right by this country and by black folks. And by black folks, right?
I didn't say what he was gonna do.
No.
I said
Why would he be the best thing for the country?
because he's a businessman, and I said these words: the United Snakes of America is not a country; it's a business.
Hold on. He's a businessman.
Let me give you an example.
Pete Ricketts was a businessman.
Let me give you an example.
Pete Ricketts was a businessman.
Can I give you an example of what I'm saying?
Pete Ricketts was a businessman.
I don't know Pete Ricketts. Let me
Pete
give you an
Ricketts.
example.
You don't know Pete Ricketts?
No, the governor. Is
What?
he the governor?
The billionaire, one of the richest men in the world.
Okay, we should study them.
Okay, go ahead.
We should
Go
study
ahead.
them. I say that he's the best because he's a businessman. Let me ask you a question. If you went to Walmart,
Right.
can you be the president of Walmart or the vice president of Walmart or an employee of Walmart? Yeah. Can you be a citizen of Walmart?
What I got to do with anything?
I just asked. Just walk with me.
How can you be a citizen?
Oh, right. That's the question. How could you be a citizen of Walmart, right?
Yeah.
That don't even make sense, do it?
And
Okay. The United Snakes of America is a business. So you're not a citizen of the United States of America because it's a business. You can't be a citizen.
Now, Vernon.
All you can be, hold on, you can be a president. Listen to me. You can be a vice president.
Vernon.
You can be an employee.
Hold on.
That's why you get an EIN number. Listen to me. An employer identification number because you're dealing with a business and not a country.
dude,
Knowledge, wisdom, and
we
understanding.
have been through this. I don't know how many times.
Never on the air.
I don't know how many times. And the fact of the matter is, you're in the United States of America. Okay.
I understand that.
Of America.
I'm not in it, but I understand that.
Oh, you're in it. You're basically in the United States of America. You ain't in another country.
Let me read something to you.
Hold on, no. Hold
Because
on.
you're not in it. I'm just sorry.
Hold up, you're not in it.
I'm gonna go. Can I go to the law book?
Hold on, what you mean you're not in it?
Can I go to the law book?
What you mean you're not in it?
Can I go to the
Hold
law
on, what
book?
you mean you're not in it?
I'll go to the law book.
What you mean you're not in it? My driver license says what?
Your driver's
My
license.
driver's license. My birth certificate says what? My DD-214, what do it say?
You know what that's called?
All of them say the same thing.
It's called naturalization.
Do I?
See, knowledge,
I was
wisdom,
born
and understanding.
in the U.S. of America.
You were naturalized.
I was born.
Naturalized.
I was born.
Naturalized.
I came on my mama's womb.
Do you understand what naturalization is?
Check this out, though.
This is why we.
We
This
just
is
went through this till the cows come home.
my people.
So we can agree to disagree.
Well, I have the law
We-
book
we-
right here.
We can agree to disagree.
Well, I mean, we want to educate the people, though. I have the law
we
book
can
right here.
agree to disagree.
I have the law book
So-
right here. Do you agree with the law books?
No. No. Do you agree with the Bible?
You don't agree with Black's Law Dictionary?
Man, do you believe everything in that book? Thank you.
Yeah, I believe
No, I
in
don't
Black's
believe,
Law Dictionary.
I don't believe everything in the book.
Okay. Well, if you don't want to know law, if you don't even want to know the law,
Like I
then
said,
how can you
I don't
help
believe- I
economic
don't-
development?
Hold up.
We got to know these things, Brother Willie, in order for us to
I'll ask you a question.
interact properly.
I'll ask a question. Email Donald Trump, and ask Donald Trump, do you know that?
Do we know what?
What you just put to ask me? About to educate other people on.
Well, Donald Trump is Donald Trump. He's running for president.
But what they got to do with the president? Go. You still adhere to all the laws.
Well,
right?
because when I was talking about this, I was talking about me and you.
So it's a different book for Donald Trump?
No, the laws are different for me
for
and
Donald
you.
Trump?
Yeah, than me
And
and
us.
you.
Why?
Right. Well, I was going to read it
Oh,
because
he
if
white
I
and I'm
say it,
black?
you're not
Hold
going
up.
to believe
Because
it.
he white and I'm black?
Well, if I say it, you're not going
Hold
to
up.
believe it.
Just answer the question.
Well,
Because he white
Let me
and
read
I'm
it
black?
from. Let me read it from the law book.
No. Just answer the
No,
question.
because that's I can't give you
Hold on,
that
it's-
answer.
Hold on. Is it two sets of rules? One for black
No.
people and one for white people?
It's one rule. You just got to read it
It's one rule for who?
for everybody. For a
Donald Trump should know.
citizen.
So Donald Trump should know
That's
that.
the rule for a citizen.
So
Let's talk
Donald
about
Trump
that.
So Donald Trump should know that, right?
Yeah. Well, let me give you an example. You notice most times we can talk about Barack Obama.
So we got about another 5-10 minutes to we'll call it tonight. Go ahead.
Well, Barack Obama, his name was Barry Sanders,
Okay.
and then he took on his nationality
He changed his
of
name.
his father
He changed his
to
name.
Osama bin Laden, to Barack Hussein Obama.
So he changed his name.
Now that was a law. He's a constitutional lawyer, and constitutionally, there's laws that go with the Constitution that under the title called citizen, and it's in the Black's Law Dictionary. And in the hold on.
I don't have to read the black
Hold
law.
on,
If I
hold
want
on,
to change my
hold on,
name,
hold on.
all I got to do is go down to the courthouse to change my name.
Hold on. First of all, but see, you don't know why. You just talking about changing your name. But
Oh,
the point that I was getting
The
to,
point I was trying to make was anybody can go and legally change their name.
okay, but
And don't necessarily adhere to a law.
because you don't know what I'm trying to say.
Vern,
This is adhering to a law.
we've been talking about this for years. If I want to change my name, I don't need to go to a black lawyer. All I got to do is go down to the courthouse and legally change my name. Is that right or wrong?
I'm not discussing.
right or wrong?
I'm not discussing how you will change it. I was talking about Barack Obama and why he had to change his
Oh, you still talking about
to become president. Well, I was right. I'm talking about.
Donald Trump still talking about the birth certificate.
Well, no, I'm not worried about the birth certificate. I
It's so
said,
silly, dog.
oh, you're not sticking with me. I'm not talking
It's
about
silly.
that. I'm talking about nationalization, changing his name, and him being a constitutional lawyer, and then reading the definition of the word citizen.
Why are we
because
talking about Barack Obama birth certificate?
I didn't say anything about that. Why are you going in places I'm not talking?
That's what you're talking about. You're talking about him changing his name.
That has nothing to do with the birth certificate.
When you change your name, what happens?
You change
change
your
your
name.
birth certificate.
No, you don't.
Yes,
you
you
don't.
do.
No,
You can't have
Brother
two
Willie.
birth certificates, man.
Brother Willie, you never
I
get
done went
two.
through
birth-
it.
You changed your name,
Yes.
and you got two birth certificates,
I had Armstrong, Hamilton.
and you got two of them.
Armstrong, Hamilton.
You got two birth certificates.
Armstrong, no, I couldn't have two.
That's what I just said.
Armstrong, Hamilton.
Okay, then why would you talk about two
Hold
if you
on.
can't have
The
two?
point I was trying to make was this. If he changed his name, he would have to go change his birth certificate
Why?
because you can't have two birth certificates.
Who said he did?
If you're going to have two names, he was born with a name, right?
Brother Willie, there's no rationale in that thinking.
Hold up, he was born with a name, right?
Nobody changes their birth certificate when they change their
Yes,
name.
you do.
I changed my name. I ain't changed my birth certificate.
Then
Now
you got
tell
two
me, and
names.
you know I do.
Then you got two names.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
I just did it. I've been doing it all my life since you've been knowing me.
But you can't do that.
I just did it.
You can't do it.
Don't I get paid by Vernon Lewis Muhammad?
Like I said.
How you gonna tell me I can't do it?
Like I said, you can't do it.
Didn't Barack Obama do it in front of your face?
He had a birth certificate, man. Barack Obama's name was on his birth certificate.
Okay.
You can't have two birth certificates, man.
I don't know where you got that from. There's nowhere in existence where Barack Obama got two
I mean-
birth certificates.
He don't. Did I just say that? He don't. He got one.
But why you keep saying you gotta have two?
No, I said you can't have two.
Who said you did?
You said you got one under Vernon Muhammad and one under your
I
name.
never said that, Brother Willie.
Then you got one.
Right.
Oh, then we cool then.
That's all I've said.
Well, you said you could have two.
No, you can have two. You can change your name and honor your fathers.
Yeah, but you're only gonna have one birth certificate.
The birth certificate is not significant. The birth certificate is the contract with the Queen
What you mean the birth
for
certificate is
ownership.
not significant?
It's from the Maternity Act of
Of
1933.
course, it's a certificate. Every day they ask me
Hold
for my
on,
birth
it's
certificate.
called naturalization. That's your naturalization.
Every day they ask me for my birth certificate.
That's your
And once-
naturalization because
So-
you're not a citizen.
Yeah, but you said hold up.
You're considered an alien at birth.
Alien.
Yes. That's why you have to get a birth certificate to function.
Vern.
I do too.
Vern.
Well, see, this is the type of things that needs to be known in order for us to have proper strategy in dealing with what we need to deal with.
I'm asking you a question. A lot of people disagree with you.
Nobody disagrees with me.
Says who? How you gonna say nobody disagree with you?
Because I'm talking wisdom, knowledge, and
No,
understanding.
people disagree with you, B.
Those with no knowledge.
Oh, so let me get this straight. So when people disagree with you, they ain't got no knowledge.
Well, it depends on what I'm talking about.
On this particular thing, V.
If you don't understand,
V, you could go out here and you could talk to 1 million people, and you say, and 1 million people gonna agree with you. Thank you. So on that note,
Barack Obama agreed with me.
So on that note, let's agree to disagree. So on that note,
You don't
folks,
call him Barry Sanders, do you?
No, I never call him Barry Sanders.
Well, why not?
Because his name Barack Obama. You see how we go at this way? And we've been going at this for a minute. But
30 years.
again, folks, it's okay to differ. We're not always going to agree. But at the end of the day, it's about people getting in this struggle. You know, so we can agree to disagree all day long, man. But at the end of the day, we got to do for self. So we want to thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Got kind of crazy a little bit, but it's good. It's a good thing. We've been knowing each other for a minute. I do agree with a lot of the stuff that he says, but some of the things that we disagree on. And with that being said, we keep it 100. So I want to thank Mr. V.
Thank you, sir.
For coming on the show, and I'm about to bring him back, man, because I think it's a good give and take, and hopefully you learn something. I'm really going to educate myself on a couple of things that I was not clear on. I'm gonna go do some homework on, and I come back next Monday. I want to be clear about what I was actually trying to say when it came to Ronald Reagan and the impact that he had on black folks, and don't get it twisted, folks. I know for a fact that Bill Clinton and the law that he enacted was detrimental to black folks. I know this. But just as bad as the Democrat did to black folks, so did the Republicans. So they both can take the blame, if you will. But for me, it's about how do we move this country forward. Whoever you vote for, just go vote. If you don't vote, it's on you. You know, we get what we get. So it is what it is. So I want to thank everyone for tuning to the show. You've been live on 1690 AM, and this has been Real Talk. As always, I leave you with peace.
Salam.